Smackdown review for the March 28th episode of Smackdown. I'm Will, that's Brandon. We are the Cousins of Destruction Wrestling Podcast. As always, let's cheers, talk about some wrestling.
Yeah, you may notice a brand new setup. Same old podcast, same old cousins.
Yep.
First podcast in the new area, and it was a hell of a Smackdown, to say the least.
Yeah, it was. It was an absolute hell of a Smackdown. Thank you all. We're in a new place. All this stuff is because of you guys, donations and stuff from the stream. You guys help us do this. We love you guys, so just want to shout you out. But let's get right into this
and
stuff.
all those views.
That too. Here we go. Cody Rhodes is going to start the show.
Cody Rhodes.
Yeah, dude, I love that.
Yeah.
London was killing it today. We were in London if we haven't talked about it yet. He says, at Mania, I will be facing John Cena, who's trying to break the record, but that's at Mania. Tonight, Randy Orton comes out. I'm like, that quick. I was like, oh.
Those even sound better in here.
I know. Nice little snaps, huh?
Uh-huh.
Crowd singing Randy Orton's song like crazy. They did that the whole night. I'm going to shout him out 10 times tonight. London was great. And Randy comes out and he goes, look at you, Cody, where you came from. I was there at the beginning when you were working hard and you were pissed about it. You were just mad and it was hard work all the way up, but you made it. And guess what you needed to do on the way up? You needed to grow away from the WWE, so that's what you did. And you left the WWE and you changed the business forever. Randy Orton was giving Cody Rhodes all the flowers, and it was fantastic. Cody was doing his good old, I'm crying down the side of my face. You know, he was tearing up, and it was all worth it. He was going, but now it's time for WrestleMania, and at WrestleMania, I'm going to kick KO's face off his body, and I'm looking forward to that. And you, Mr. Cody Rhodes, you are going to defeat Mr. John Cena at WrestleMania, and I can't wait for that as well. And after all that clears, I'm going to be coming for that title. And he looks at Cody, and he says, look, I'm not going to kick you in the nuts like somebody else might do. After you win the championship at WrestleMania, I'm going to walk up to you. I'm going to look you in the eye as a friend, shake your hand, and tell you that I am coming for that title. And when Randy Orton says that, Drew McIntyre comes out. Dirty Drew, and he's coming out with, London loves him, obviously. I mean, they're overseas. Drew's a big guy there. And he says, we got a couple Nepo babies in the ring, and it's making me sick. Crowd like that. He says, Randy, if Cody wins, what have you even done to earn a match? Hell, you just got back a month ago. You took a bunch of time off. You done nothing. And he said, and Cody, you know what? I'm coming for you, and I should already have this title match if everybody listened to what I said about John Cena before Elimination Chamber. Because before Elimination Chamber, Drew McIntyre was getting all over social media basically saying, why the hell is everybody cheering for John Cena? Doesn't make any sense. And you shouldn't trust him. And he said, if it was up to me, it would have been me and you at WrestleMania. But instead, I have to deal with that stupid idiot Damian Priest. And
Timu
Undertaker. He makes a canon for WWE, the storyline. Calls him Timu Taker, walks in the ring, and he starts to say that if you win, I'm going to take that title, and I'm going to get the title shot from you, Mr. Cody Rhodes. And before he could do anything, Cody's like, you know what? I've had enough of this, because Drew starts to kind of get too close, and Cody uppercuts him. He does like the old Dusty Rhodes drop punch thing, all that good stuff. And Randy Orton tries to come after him as well, but Drew kind of leaves the ring, and that's kind of that. We back away from it, and we find out later in the night, Drew McIntyre versus Randy Orton are taking each other on. This was a great opening segment, but, you know, it does allude to Randy Orton and Cody Rhodes down the line. It alludes to Drew McIntyre and Cody Rhodes down the line, so we're getting a lot of setups for stuff if Cody Rhodes were to win, and it all sounds great to me, but I still think John's taking that belt. This opening segment was great, popping it.
I'm going to pop this as well. You say that if John's taking that belt, John is going to take that belt, but damn, this set up a lot of good stories for after that. Obviously, we talked about the Orton Cody stuff as soon as Cody won that title, and you're like, man, that's what I want to see. A lot of people maybe had that slated for Mania this year. Well, obviously that other plans happen, other things change, and this promo from Randy was really nice to see. You got to see it a little bit on like WWE socials before, where like him and Cody are like sitting on the bus talking, and Randy's like, I'm really proud of you and all that stuff. But it's just to another level here. I really enjoyed it. I know Cody's kind of divided. The universe either likes him or they hate him. But this is a really good thing from Randy to come out, give Cody his flowers. You got Drew coming out here. Drew sets up a match with Orton. He's like, hey, don't forget about me, basically. And then he sits there and he's like, once again, I just keep telling the truth. This was a great way. It was nice, quick, and the crowd really played their part
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing more to say. If Cody does pull off what I would call an upset at WrestleMania and he remains champion, and we already have feuds like Randy Orton and Drew McIntyre waiting in line for him after that win, then like, okay, I'm not going to complain about anything except for the outcome of what Mania was. So I'm down for Randy and Drew getting title shots down the line. Let's do it. Speaking of title shots, we would have our tag team championship up next. The Street Profits are defending against Pretty Deadly. And by the way, Mark Nash, new commentator tonight. I thought he did a good job. I mean, all he's doing, or not commentator, he's the in-ring announcer. And ring announcer. He did a good job tonight. Very, he's allowed. It was good stuff.
Yeah, and before we go deep into this match, Pretty Deadly's gear was fantastic.
Oh my God, London based. It was great. It was absolutely great. Pretty Deadly would obviously start very hot here. They were ready to win the championships that they've been talking about for months and months and months now. They would do their like pop up code breaker that they called the what's it called? Skin the Cat. They hit that on Dawkins right away. And so they were going crazy. And then we get the Profits come back. They would Tez would hit a top rope splash onto Prince, I want to say. And then Kit would roll him up into a pin because he would bounce off Elton when he splashed. And he caught him in the pop up and then pinned him. It was like a 1-2. Ooh, I was like, I've never seen that before. That was crazy.
Yeah.
This match broke down really quickly into just nonsense, right? Where everybody's in the ring. There's no rules. It's great. There was a part where they were all in four corners and they just rush each other. And I don't know. It was too fast. I couldn't write down who got the advantage of who, but we'd eventually get, the Sleep Deadly, right? The finisher from Pretty Deadly. They'd hit Dawkins with it, get the 1-2 until Montez Ford would break it up. And then, of course, the Street Profits would have their big old comeback that would end with Dawkins reversing a Skin the Cat into the blockbuster finisher that Street Profits do 1, 2, 3. Street Profits beat Pretty Deadly clean as a whistle here. No shenanigans afterward. We don't get any alluding to of, DIY being up next, Motor Machine Gun being up next. We get nothing here. Clean win for the Street Profits. Great match from Pretty Deadly. That's a win-win. Pop it in.
Yeah, this was a very quick, easy, hot way to start out the night. Two tag teams that are fantastic. Like you said, it broke down real quick, which I think you were kind of more up in arms about. I mean, just make it a tornado tag, I guess. I'm
not up in arms. I'm just saying that, like, the SmackDown tag division, there's no rules when it comes to the matches. They all just, right away, it's like, okay, everybody's just in the ring and we're going at it.
Yeah. So. Yeah, this match was great, though. I really enjoyed this. Like I said, fast-paced. It made me think, man, I really want to see a series. Like, I really want to see this feud continue and go. The no malarkey, no baloney, no shenanigans. You got to say it. None of that happening.
Yeah.
Is kind of crazy to me because they kind of built the tag team division on like, hey, these 5 teams, it's absolute chaos. Week in and week out, tune in. And there was like no chaos.
Yeah.
No backstage promos. I mean, we didn't see any of it. Like, it was just like, oh, okay. So that kind of makes me maybe a little bit worried. Maybe it's just a blip on the radar. Maybe just a one-time thing. But keep running this back.
Oh, I completely agree. I would love to see these guys have a long-standing feud. It would really help the SmackDown tag team division, which has been great. But the one thing that it's been lacking has been like coherent storytelling with character building for these teams. I mean, we get a little bit of the Street Profits. They had some vignettes there for a little while, and you've tried to do some backstage segments, but you haven't really got any like these two hate these two rivalry action, and here's a reason and motive. Really wouldn't mind it with these two teams, and you could really lean into what we thought was going to be a Street Profits heel run there for a minute, which they've kind of backed more into the tweener role since then. So I'd love to just see them go story wild with these two teams and let this be like the first real SmackDown tag team, one-on-one tag team rivalry that we've had in a while.
Yeah, you could do that with these two teams, and then you could have DIY and Motor City do their own thing, because I think that has enough little story there that doesn't really need anything. Like you can just have those two teams go at it. You could maybe branch a Ciampa Gargano thing off of that, maybe. And the Garzas, they're just kind of out of luck, I guess. But
ouch,
man.
Speaking of people out of luck, we saw Party Girls. The Party Girls for the first time in forever, because they were out of luck for months and months and months.
I think they said December 9th, I think they said.
Holy shit.
Yeah, and they just said December 9th was the last time they were on TV.
Yeah, but I guess they found their luck, so that's not right. Because they're on TV again, is what I'm basically saying. Then they're with Zelina Vega backstage.
But then they were down on their luck again.
Yeah, then they were down on their luck again. But so the Party Girls are backstage with Zelina Vega, and they're talking, and Then the Secret Service comes in, which they're wearing like full on Secret Service gear now, which is just the most spectacular thing ever. They even wrestle in it. It's like gear suits that are phenomenal with, the glasses and everything. And then Chelsea Green walks in and Zelina Vega basically says, you know what, I would have won last week if it wasn't for your stupid Secret Service. And the Secret Service, starts talking back. But we end up rolling this into a match with the Party Girls taking on the Secret Service with Chelsea Green. And the Party Girls got a bunch of offense in here. They were going nuts. It's kind of nice to see Katana Chance and Kaden Carter back out there. And we know their characters aren't much here, but they're good in the ring.
Yeah, they're always going to come in and hit their stuff, and they're going to make other people look good. They don't have a whole lot of character there. But you know what? When you sign up for a match, it's going to be good.
Yeah, they even got the Piper does this a good amount basically in the matches with Chelsea so far, is that she always ends up trying to go for a big time move and misses and hits Chelsea. Well, this time she went for a senton in the ring and missed and hit Alba Fire. So that was, we're playing more into that too. But Kaden Carter would actually get like a Samoan drop here to Piper. Like they were getting a lot of good stuff here. They do the keg stand, which they're so good at. 1-2 until Alba Fire breaks that up. But eventually would get Kaden Carter going to the top rope, and she takes out Piper Niven on the outside, leaving Alba Fire on the outside, leaving Piper in the middle of the ring. And Chelsea's like, well, I'm not letting my Secret Service out there to dry. So she jumps up on the ring apron, distracts the ref, and she gets Katana Chance's, gets her attention. And during that time, Piper's able to throw Kaden Carter into Katana Chance. She goes off the ring apron. Piper hits her Piper driver. 1, 2, 3. We have the Secret Service pick up their first win here. This was fantastic stuff. Zelina Vega, of course, runs out after the Secret Service continues their beatdown on the Party Girls post-match. And does Zelina Vega get the advantage here? I got to flip the page here. Do you remember off the top of your head? I think Zelina Vega ends up getting the advantage.
Yeah.
Oh, no. So
she just kind of runs them off, right?
No. She goes in the ring with Chelsea Green. They start going after Chelsea. Or she goes after Chelsea, almost hits her finisher on Chelsea, but the Secret Service steps
almost hits
in.
a code red, and then Alba Fire hits a super kick. Yep.
Boom. Secret Service stands tall here. I actually like this a lot. I have nothing to complain here. You get the Party Girls on screen. We've been saying that we need a relevant women tag team back into the mix. Party Girls are back on screen there, so that's good. I'm popping it.
Yeah, I'm going to pop this. Not for the Party Girls. I'm popping it for the Secret Service.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, this is fantastic. I know we had kind of like jokingly mentioned last week when Piper came out. She came out in her normal gear, and it was like, why doesn't she wrestle in like Hervis gear? That'd be pretty awesome.
Yeah.
And then this week they did that exact thing. I said, this is great.
Yep. Is Secret Service the best tag team? Or just the Secret Service has to be like the best women's gimmick in wrestling right now in terms of tag team wrestling. Like they should be next up for the Liv and Raquel titles, the tag titles.
Yeah, in terms of like tag teams, yeah, definitely. I mean, it's still very short lived, right? Yeah. It hasn't been very long, but it's been enjoyable and it's been great. And Alba Fire seems to kind of like, you have more character than you had before, which is weird because you haven't got a lot from her, but it's still awesome. This is fantastic. I wouldn't mind them taking the tag titles off Liv and Raquel. I know that's probably not going to happen, but like if you were to be like, hey, this is going to happen, I'd be like, yeah, you know what? Sign me up. Must see TV with those two. Chelsea Green's kind of just elevating everybody around her.
Yeah. I mean, I just say that because, I think all of us are in agreement that Liv, while being a tag team champion, probably should be doing bigger things in tag team championship, right? The Secret Service immediately feels like, yep, that's the gimmick that needs this. Those are the people that can really elevate these tag titles to another level in terms of us caring about like the entire character around the tag titles as well. Because right now it feels like we care about Liv with the tag team championship. This could be a team where we care about the tag team titles being on this team. And I think Chelsea Green can just elevate them to another level. You have them with the tag titles, Chelsea with the US title. Give me that all day long. They would supply us with endless great stuff. So I would love to see them eventually be the next team who takes on Liv and Raquel.
Yeah, endless content. And then, I mean, they have a match and you could have Chelsea just hold all three belts. I mean, that just sounds entertaining.
Why wouldn't you?
Yeah, why not? Just have her take all the credit,
Well, the title matches were not done yet. We would get LA Knight defending his U.S. title against Braun Strowman. And Braun's strong. He's big. I feel like I got to say this weekly. He's a strong guy. And so to get people who he faces have trouble beating up Strong Guy at the beginning of the match. And they would eventually go to the outside of the ring where LA Knight was going to try to utilize the outside, right? Like the announce table and the ring post to try to get the advantage over Big Guy. But Braun Strowman would boot this man into oblivion. I mean, booted the shit out of LA Knight. And he hit the ground with a thud. And even the crowd was like, oh, big boy, big boot. But we come back from commercial break and LA Knight's killing it. He goes for a second rope bulldog, hits him with it, and he starts to get going until Braun eventually does something and kicks LA Knight out of the ring, which LA Knight being out of the ring, Braun Strowman likes to do that thing where he runs around the ring and hits people. So he gets out of the ring to run around and hit people. When he turns the corner in, Jacob Fatu is there. Fatu, crowd goes wild.
Yeah.
Huge pop.
Crowd love Fatu.
Loved him. Takes out Braun Strowman. He says, screw it. LA Knight's there too. I wouldn't mind that title one day. Turns around, takes out LA Knight. And then he goes over to Braun Strowman, picks him up, Samoan drops him onto the announce table. Still not done. Throws him into the ring. He starts defeating him with the tribal cheeks, right? Into the corner. But, I mean, I think LA Knight goes back in there. Yeah, he goes back in there. He eats a pop-up Samoan drop from the big boy.
Nice.
And then the crowd's like, give us more, give us more. Fatu's like, yes, sir. He goes up. He starts hitting moonsaults. He hits not one. He hits not two. He hits three of them. It's Braun Strowman with a bunch of them. He's going absolutely buck wild. After the fact, he's in the backstage, and Solo Sikoa and Tama Tonga are back there waiting for him, and they're pissed off because they're like, why the hell didn't you tell us that you were going to do this? You got to tell us the plan. And Fatu's like, screw you guys. You guys didn't tell me shit last week when you screwed me out of a U.S. title match. So I don't want to hear about your plan. Braun Strowman's mine, and that U.S. title's mine, whether you guys are going to be there for me or not. So Fatu, woo. I mean, he's coming after it. Fatu wants that United States Championship from LA Knight, but so does Braun Strowman. We may get a multi-man match here, maybe some Solo Sikoa added in there as well. And honestly, I'm down for every little bit of it. Popping it.
Yeah, I'm going to pop that as well. I mean, that just sounds fantastic to me. Just the drama as well, kind of centered around Bloodline 2.0 is the best part, which kind of has nothing to do with the U.S. title. Like it does. You cost me the title. I'm trying to bring the title back, but also the inner drama, the inner workings. You have Tama Tonga talking today and Jacob Fatu snapping at Tama Tonga and Solo being like, no, you can't talk to Tama that way. Good to speak up for Tama Tonga. This is just really good stuff. I mean, fantastic stuff. The Strowman LA Knight match, I don't really care. It was one of those matches to progress the storyline sort of thing. So you're not going to write home about the match, but the Fatu impression again just stands tall. And I mean, every time this guy's on screen, he's over with everybody.
Yeah, I mean, we talk a lot about how this WrestleMania is going to have multi-man matches, and some people are rightfully kind of angry about that. Like, you should be able to write a story where we eventually just get two people who are the obvious rivals and we go into Mania like that. But it's a good thing to have so many people that are over and that you want to see in big-time matches. Like Braun Strowman, you can argue shouldn't really be involved in this stuff, but Solo Sikoa, Jacob Fatu, and LA Knight at the very least should be on the WrestleMania card. Why not throw them at each other in some form or fashion for a United States Championship belt? And if you want to throw a Strowman in there to maybe take a pin so that all those other guys look okay and the guy who pins looks very strong because you're pinning the monster, right? That works for me. I think this is phenomenal. I think the stuff with Solo and Jacob Fatu is going to break open here in a couple weeks, maybe even next week, and that's going to be phenomenal stuff. So I'm down for this ride. I'm ready for that match.
Yeah, you talking about Strowman taking the pin makes me think LA Knight's going to retain now.
Yeah.
And now that I'm thinking about it.
Yeah.
You got Solo Fatu doing their own thing.
Yeah.
They're going to just go off. They can keep fighting forever.
Yeah, right.
And then Strowman can take the pin. Yeah, no big deal.
Deal. Jimmy Uso, he's backstage. They were talking about the slap heard around the world when he smacked the hell out of Gunther on Monday Night Raw. And he was getting interviewed by Jackie, and he said, I'll keep smacking Gunther. Jay's doubting himself, but that's okay. That's okay, because on Monday, we're going to start to get this thing right. He says, I'm going to bust Gunther's ass on Monday, then Jay's going to bust his ass at Mania. That's what he said, not me. And he said, and then Mello don't Miz show up, so the Miz and Mello show up, and Miz is talking all that smack to Jimmy, and so he says, you know what, I want you in a match tonight. So we got that set up.
Yep.
But then sleeper, best thing that happened tonight, sleeper. Obviously, we got big stuff that is probably better, but a sleeper pick for one of the best things that happened tonight. We got ourselves a Naomi vignette that was spectacular. So last week she came out in the caution tape gear, where it's all like the police caution tape. It's all over her body. And everybody's like, oh, that's sweet gear. I wonder if that's going to be a thing. Well, she's still wearing it. And we kind of figured out why. She says she's at like her house or something. And she's kind of like shaking and going crazy. Tears are kind of coming down her eyes. And she says, I don't want to be here. I've always been the one or been a woman to do the right thing. Bianca, why do you think that I did not do the right thing? I've sacrificed for you. I've given. Yet now this is bad. I'm the bad one. And she starts to cry. She says, how does Jade take my place with you, Bianca? Who inspired you? Did Jade inspire you? No. Who's always had your back? Has Jade been there for years having your back? No, not Jade. I figured out over this time that you teach people how to treat you. And I'm done being underappreciated. So moving forward, if Jade is going to be in my way, proceed with caution. Boom. She hits the tape there. That was fantastic. Naomi's vignette tonight was some of the best character work I think Naomi has done in her entire career. The proceed with caution stuff was absolutely phenomenal. This calling out of Bianca, keeping Bianca involved in this Jade stuff while she's over there doing the championship stuff on Monday Night Raw is interesting as well. This is incredible. I'm popping it.
Yeah, I'm going to pop this as well. I wouldn't be surprised if this is a promo towards the end of the year when we give our like awards. Like if this isn't up there with a nominee. I mean, this was really good. This is the best stuff I've seen her do in WWE. Obviously, she had some time away from WWE, but I mean, we weren't big fans of like the glow gimmick, right? Like, I want to see some more character development. This is fantastic. You have her kind of like peeking through the blinds and she's making crazy faces and she's like losing her mind. And then you have the pictures of her and Bianca and the pictures of like who inspired you. And it's early Naomi. And it's like, oh my God, okay, this is all making so much sense. This is fantastic stuff. Really good stuff. I mean, I don't know what I would have asked for character-wise in terms of her promo after she keeps attacking, but you got to build on something, right? Well, they hit a home run on this one. Sometimes we talk about like, that didn't really connect, or like, it is what it is. This was phenomenal stuff. Like I said, early candidate promo of the year stuff.
The most interesting part to me was how often she said the word Bianca. Like she is very purposely keeping Bianca's name in this feud. You and I have been very vocal about like we think that Bianca is going to circle back to this Jade Naomi stuff after Mania, and that's why we don't see her walking away from Mania as champion, right? I mean, this is building up to be exactly that, and it makes you kind of think it still keeps in mind the idea of Bianca being a part of the Jade attack. Like everything's there. Bianca or Naomi is sitting there saying, like, I've done all of this for you. I did this for you. I did this for you. I inspired you. I've been so part of your past. Why wouldn't they put this together, right? To get Jade out of the picture. Like, now all those conspiracies can start to fly within WWE storyline. And, I mean, that's what more do you want? That's how you set up the future of a storyline. This is great.
Yeah, maybe Bianca didn't outright say, hey, I want you to attack her. But Naomi, like you said, keeps saying, I do this for you. I do this for you. I do. Maybe Bianca at one point was to her breaking point with Jade, right? And she's like, I'm nervous. Maybe she is better than me or stronger than me or faster than me or whatever the case may be. And so Naomi took it upon herself. But I mean, this just adds another layer to right now what's the best women's story going on in the company.
Oh, 100%. 100%. We'll talk about one that's not the best women's storyline in the company because after this vignette, Jade is on screen with Nick Aldis, and Jade is basically saying she wants to fight Naomi
in the Kill Bill outfit.
In a Kill Bill outfit. So, I mean, they're killing it in terms of their gear. It's crazy. And Nick Aldis is like, look, she's not here tonight. You can't fight her tonight. And Jay's like, okay, well, it's on site when I see her next. And she runs into B-Fab and Michin, who are on their way to fight, who is on, Michin's on her way to fight Charlotte Flair. And Jay's like, you know what, good luck. Jade's on their side, kind of. And so we do get Michin walking out with B-Fab to fight Charlotte Flair when they get in the ring during their entrance, and Naomi's there. Naomi attacks, and Naomi's all over him. She hits her finisher on Michin, then goes outside with B-Fab. She throws B-Fab against like the barricade and ring post maybe. She's beating up on B-Fab, and she's like ground pounding B-Fab on the announce table when that means Jade's here. So Jade runs out.
Yeah, Jade's music hits, and Naomi is choking her.
Yeah, Jade's
she is choking her on the announce table.
It's so good. It's so good. And And by the time Jade sprints out to the announce table, Naomi does let go of the chokehold and kind of run away. She backs away into the crowd. Of course, she's the heel, and that's slimy heel. They get away like that. But another cool part, though, is as they're going to the back, because Michin stays in the ring because she wants to fight because Michin's tough. And BFAB needs help out of the arena by Jade. And Charlotte decides to make her entrance, and we get a very quick, like 15-second interaction of Charlotte staring down Jade on her way to the ring, and everybody in the arena and on commentary, we were all like, yep, that's going to be pretty fun down the line.
Yeah, Jade sizing up Charlotte, and Charlotte's just staring her dead in the face.
Yeah.
You're just like, okay, yep.
Yep.
We all knew that was going to happen, and we know they've had interactions before.
Yep.
But like, just whenever they bring it back and it's something so quick and subtle, and you're just like, yeah, you know what? Yeah.
But Michin's in the ring, and obviously she's hurt because she took a finisher from Naomi. And we thought that Charlotte was just going to walk in and have herself a day.
Well,
Not what happened.
She got that big move right off the bat. I said, oh.
She starts the match with a big boot to Michin, and it was like, okay, we're squashing her. She's injured. And she pounces on her, and then we go to commercial break, and we're like, definitely thought the match would be over by now. But we come back and Michin's dominating. And Michin is having herself a match here, man.
Yeah.
Definitely did not see that one coming. But she even picked Charlotte up in a powerbomb position, walked her to the center of the ring, sit down powerbomb, 1-2. Batista bombed the shit out of her. Like, what's going on here?
She threw that thing.
Yeah, dude. She even hit the eat the feet, like everything.
Yep.
Charlotte got her toe on the rope there, which was good stuff.
Only by a toe.
Like this close, right? But eventually, Michin would take her outside of the ring and line Charlotte up on the stair, and would try to go for a running boot to the stair on Charlotte. Charlotte would get out of the way. Michin would kick the stair. Owie to my feet. I kicked the stair. And then Charlotte would send her into the ring. Figure 8, right? And then Michin does end up tapping here. But we get ourselves, a lot of drama here. We started out with the Jade Naomi stuff. Michin ends up putting on a good match with Charlotte Flair here. Flair shows that she can still sell, do all that good stuff. I have no complaint. I'm popping it. Really? That one got you.
Yeah, the owie to my feet. I don't know why that made me laugh so hard. Yeah, I'm going to pop this as well.
Yeah.
A little bit more offense for Michin than I thought we were going to get. But, it was a good match.
Yeah.
Nothing crazy.
Yeah.
Am I going to go back and watch it? Nope. But it was good stuff. Charlotte, just once again, it's nice to see her continue to get those reps in since she's been out for so long. And then that led right into the Tiffany stuff.
Yep. So Tiffany's getting interviewed by Jackie, who had herself a night. She had to interview a bunch of people tonight. But she says that Charlotte loves hearing herself talk, and that's why she got blown out last week on the mic, because she wouldn't even let the rookie get a word out, is what Tiff said. She said, at Mania, I have nothing to lose. That's what I've realized. I'm just a rookie who lost to Charlotte Flair in my first big match at WrestleMania. But if Flair loses, she loses to what she called me, a little girl. She says what happens if it stays in Vegas, and in Vegas, Flair's ego will have to remain there. It will stay there because I will walk out as champ. Toodles. I'm going to give it a pop because it's better. Much better than last week's, and kind of much better than she's given us any other time during this specific feud. But I'm still under the impression of just cut her loose. It's definitely scripted stuff. We eventually just need some heart. Let the woman have a couple minutes on a mic, unfiltered, be herself. But gotta give the pop to the step up, right?
Yeah, it's definitely a progression.
Yeah.
So it's a step up from then. I didn't get Tiffy time in this promo.
No Tiffy time.
Yeah, no Tiffy time mentioned. So
Toodles.
Toodles, which is different. It's different. Kind of the same, but different. She didn't say anything too crazy here. I do like the fact that she acknowledged what some people thought. Like, we were on the side of, man, Charlotte destroyed her, but the only pushback I really saw was Charlotte didn't let her get a word in edgewise. And then she acknowledged that. I really like how they're continuing to do that stuff. I found myself being like, okay, so this is a little bit better.
Yeah.
Maybe next week you can get a little bit better. It's just baby steps.
Yeah, I don't need to go into it more. Just please cut her loose. Let her cut her loose.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to go watch, Tiffany has some really good stuff in NXT. If you don't know much about Tiffany, go watch some of her NXT interviews back then, her promos. She was a little bit more trusted by, it's a lesser audience, so they could take that risk. And she cooks, so she can do it.
She's just much more of a person, I would say. Like you get authenticity
Yeah.
Whereas this is much more script reading.
Yeah. Anyway, we get Randy Orton taking on Drew McIntyre, which this was the greatest hits of Randy Orton. I mean, it was crazy. Like he came
Vintage
out.
Orton.
Yeah, he came out and they went back and forth for like the first minute of this match until Randy sent him into the ring post, and then it was all Orton the rest of the way. Mm-hmm. So they spilled out to the outside of the ring, and Randy did his vintage Orton where he picks him up and just drops him onto the announce table, threw him into the ring, did his vintage Orton, like what's it called, like the swap slam, whatever you call it, the snap slam. It's not swap.
Yeah, I don't know what a swap slam is, but that works.
And then he'd take him over the rope, hit a vintage Orton DDT, and we got all the greatest hits there. And then KO would come out. So Kevin Owens is here. When that happened, that gave Drew enough time to get up and hit a Claymore. 1, 2, 3 wins. Bada bing, bada boom.
Still undefeated in London.
Still undefeated in London. KO would attack, of course. He beat the hell out of Randy Orton, get him to the announce table where he was going to hit a pile driver. He got him up into the pile driver position until Orton would slip away and take out his feet, and KO fell onto the announce table. Then he would roll off the announce table and kind of be on his knees in perfect punting position, and Randy would go for the punt, but KO would pop up and sprint away. And that was the end of that. So, I mean, this is fine. I'm never going to complain about Randy Orton and Drew McIntyre being in any sort of match on free television. So that's always good stuff. The KO stuff is obviously still the same. I hope we get maybe a little bit different of that next week. Maybe we do get KO standing on top. I need to be reminded that KO is also a dominant heel at some point, so I need some of that. But I have no hate on this. I had fun. I'm popping it.
Yeah, maybe a low blow. I don't know. Something slimy, thumb to the eye.
Yeah.
Something. Yeah, this was great. I mean, this was good stuff. You get Randy Orton and Drew on a random SmackDown.
Right.
Good stuff. Now, was it a 5-star match? Nope. It was, like you said, Randy's greatest hits, and I was okay with that. Drew gets the win here. Drew looks strong here. KO costs Randy. I mean, you're teasing the pun again. We're all just waiting at that point. It's good stuff.
Well, the good stuff came afterward because Drew McIntyre was excited about his win, and Jackie, as I said earlier, had herself a night, was interviewing him as he was leaving the arena, the O2, the very famous London arena, and he said, "Look at that. When no one screws me over, I win matches," which is funny because, KO screwed Randy Orton over in the match, right? And he says, "Damian doesn't even have the balls to show up here. I called him out last week, but screw it. I guess next week, maybe he'll show up and we'll go face to face then." And you were looking at me like, he's going to walk through that door that's behind him and Damian Priest is going to be there. You were right, Mr. Sir. He walked through a door and Damian Priest is standing there ready to beat the hell out of Mr. Drew McIntyre. And they're fighting and they're like in the parking lot.
In a garage type.
In the garage area. And Damian starts slamming Drew's head onto this convertible. And the owner of the convertible is in the convertible. And he's like, "The hell you doing?" He gets out of the car. He's like, "What are you doing?" And Damian Priest turns and picks this man up and slams him through a table.
That guy got high. Just high in the air through the table.
I was like, damn.
Hit it perfect.
That's very face of you, but whatever. And he starts beating the hell out of Drew McIntyre. Drew tries to get some shots in, but it just won't happen. And they end up on the hood of the convertible. And Damian Priest, south of heavens, Drew McIntyre onto the windshield. He goes right through it, cracks the hell out of it. And Damian looks him in the eye and goes, "Rest in peace, jackass," because obviously Drew made the Timu Undertaker joke. Man, was I wrong about this feud, I think. Going into Mania, when we heard about this feud happening, all of us kind of rolled our eyes and said they both need to be in something better, especially Drew. But man, I think they've made the most out of their minutes. I think I've loved every step of this feud so far. I'm popping it.
Yeah, I'm going to pop this as well. We kind of had a little bit of like, how do you fix this feud? Or like, what do you think? How would you book it? And they've once again hit a home run. I think tonight, especially just all the feuds in general, all took a step forward in my opinion. Everything tonight hit really well. This was nice. This was great. Drew's like, I'm going to go celebrate. Everybody, let's go grab a drink sort of thing. And then Damian's there, south to heaven through the car. Like you said, it kind of felt old schoolish, right? It felt like, man, that's the stuff I've been missing. Yeah. And so it made you feel good.
Yeah, I mean, the way to get to wrestling fans' hearts is to just do cool stuff like that. It's like Drew walks through a door and Damian's standing there. It's like, oh, that's so old school, like you just said. Like, he pops out of nowhere. It's corny. It's cool. And then, I mean, you put a guy through a table that just was there, standing there. And then you have Drew up on the car, and then you south of heaven him through a windshield. Like, there's nothing I'm not gonna pop there. Like, that's just good stuff. So if you're gonna sell me on this feud, just keep giving me awesome stuff to look at, and I'm gonna be like, hell yeah, let's do this more and more and more. And honestly, they've sold me on it. I'm totally ready for Drew McIntyre versus Damian Priest at Mania. Yeah,
exactly. Like I said, everything they did tonight was fantastic.
Yeah. We would get Jimmy Uso versus The Miz next, and Miz would dominate early until Mr. Jimmy Uso would hit a clothesline over the barricade when they spilled out to the outside. Miz would come back. He'd hit his little DDT that he does. Miz kicks, all the good stuff. Until Jimmy would hit a super kick when Miz went for a springboard something. It was one of those where he just, it was time for the super kick, so he springboarded into it. But he hit the super kick, the Uso splash. 1, 2, 3, Big Jim wins. He goes to the announce table, grab the mic from Joe Tessitore, like the announce mic, and he would call out Gunther and say, I'm coming for you. You will no longer be the ring general. You'll be the private general, and you will salute to Big Jim on Monday night. So we got Big Jim calling out Gunther. That match on Monday should be awesome, even though I think it's going to be a Big Jim bloodbath. But you know what? I can't complain about this either. I like The Miz. I like Jim. Good stuff, man. Good stuff. Pop.
Yeah, and I think we flipped those. Was that before that? I think either way, yeah. I mean, this is maybe the least noteworthy thing of the night.
Yeah,
but yeah, Jim's gonna get destroyed on Monday, and that's that.
Yeah, not much to talk about. On Monday or on Tuesday, catch our review of Monday because I think we're gonna be talking about Big Jim getting murdered.
I do feel bad for Big Jim.
Yeah,
Big Jim's putting in some work, and he's about to get destroyed.
Then the reason we all showed up tonight. It was Roman Reigns, CM Punk, and Seth Rollins signing their WrestleMania contract. And last week's SmackDown, they had this big, face-off that kind of left everybody kind of like, what just happened? They're all pointing to the Mania sign. They announced the match afterward. It was a little bit weird. But tonight, man, oh man, we got what we came for. And as you guys know, I write these notes down as we watch on the live stream, so there's a lot to do there. I have a whole page of it, so sit back and relax. Here we go. Roman would come out first, and the wise man would move his seat to the head of the table, because of course they had a table for the contract signing. And he said he loves the way that everybody was singing to his tribal chief. He called him beautiful because the crowd was hot for this segment, man. They were doing Roman Reigns.
Yeah, Roman Reigns. Yeah.
And he was signing the contract.
And he was even like this too. He was.
Yeah, no baloney, no malarkey. He went in there.
What about the shenanigans?
Yeah, he signed the contract, and that was that. He was ready to get going. When Seth Rollins showed up, and Seth Rollins, he gave the mic to Paul Heyman to sing because the crowd was singing his song, and Paul hates that song as of a couple weeks ago. So he kind of pointed at Paul and was like, "You want to sing?" And Paul was like, "Please no." And he goes, Roman, this is the O2. He goes, 12 years ago, we actually came here as the Shield in a helicopter. We landed on the roof, and by the end of the night, we were putting the Undertaker through a table. So we have been here, man. He goes, since then, there's been a lot of love, but there's been 10 times more hate. We accomplished our mission, though, in that time. And Roman goes, you keep saying we. There is no we. What is this our mission? We died a long time ago. It's only me. I made this place, Seth. I made this place billions of dollars. What have you done? And Seth says, this is exactly the mindset that I keep coming at you about because you don't get it. You think that this stuff is all about you. It's not. You could have ended the snake, which is CM Punk, months and months ago at War Games. But instead, you shook his hand. And then when I could have finished him in the steel cage match not too long ago, you saved him. You saved CM Punk multiple times.
Yeah, he had that good line, snake in the garden.
The snake in the garden.
When they were in the garden.
They were in Madison.
Oh, that's good. That's good stuff.
And he ends it by going, now, look where we are again. In the same place we always are. I have to clean up your freaking mess. And that's when Punk shows up. Actually, Seth Rollins signs the contract right before then. So now Roman and Rollins signatures are already on the contract when CM Punk shows up. And he says, I'm here to chew gum and sign contracts. And he throws his gum out of his mouth and says, and I'm all out of gum. And I was like, okay, we're doing this, CM Punk, huh? But he sits down and he actually reads the contract. Like a smart man, I guess, technically. I mean, you should probably read the contract if you're going to sign it. It had a couple pages to it. Mm-hmm. And Roman's getting pissed. And he's there like, today, Junior, he goes, go to the 4th page and sign. Everything's
clause
there.
5.
Clause 5, yeah. Mm-hmm. And he sends the wise man over. And this when things get juicy because the wise man kneels down next to CM Punk and he says, everything's there that you wanted. It's right there. And he shows it to him. And then he says, what does he say? He says, it's all right there, Punk. You know what you're looking for and it's there. You are closing the show at WrestleMania. You get to live your dream, CM Punk. You are going to be the main event of WrestleMania. And Punk is legit tearing up at this point. Paul is happy as hell for the man. I mean, they're sharing a legitimate moment in the ring. I know it's all story based, but those two are sharing a legitimate moment, and it's spectacular in the ring. And Roman breaks this moment by saying, "One man's dream is another man's favor." Check. And CM Punk signs it. And Seth starts freaking out because his entire purpose that he made clear weeks ago was he wants to make sure that CM Punk never gets to main event of WrestleMania. That's the entire point. He doesn't want Punk to accomplish any of his dreams ever. And so he starts blaming everybody. It's your fault, and your fault, and your fault, and your fault. And Punk breaks the silence, and he's actually clearing his face from tears because he was crying of happiness. And he goes, thank you to everybody. Thank you for chanting my name for 10 plus years while I was off the screen during Seth Rollins matches. And Roman says, no. What are you thanking them for? You should be thanking me. I'm the reason that is on your contract. You're here for me. You should be thanking me. So how about you take the time to thank your tribal chief right now? And Paul Heyman's looking at CM Punk like, don't thank him. Don't do it.
He's audibly like mouthing. That's audibly mouthing. It doesn't make any sense. He's mouthing, don't. Just like, don't do that.
Don't. And Punk gets down on a knee. Yeah. And he kneels down to Roman. He says, thank you, my tribal chief, the head of the table, the big dog. And he says, for allowing me to be here and stand in your ring. But I will see you in the main event of WrestleMania. And the very last line of the night before the screen goes black. But that's not my favor I'm owed. Boom. Screen's out. That quick. What more do you want in wrestling, man? What more do you want? CM Punk, Roman Reigns, and Seth Rollins are the main event of night one of WrestleMania, probably. But to Roman Reigns' chagrin, that was not the favor that CM Punk was owed. This ending segment was absolutely gold. Popping it.
Yeah, I'm going to pop that. And I think this is the first ever time we've had so many pops and no drops.
Yeah.
I mean, fantastic episode. Yeah, I mean, this was phenomenal. Sometimes contract signings are a little wishy-washy. You don't get anything out of them. You don't get anything of substance. You're just like,
yeah,
that's it. That's what we're doing here. This was not that. This was fantastic stuff. You got Roman playing his part perfectly. You got Rollins playing the crazy I told you so guy part perfectly. You got Punk being like, oh, I'm just doing what I came here to do sort of thing. You got Paul over there, like basically he's with Roman, but he's also like so happy for Punk, and everything's there. Just how you asked, Punk, everything. And it's obviously not be the favor. I know we were watching it and you said, well, that can't be the favor, right? Like, that's not it. That's not it. And then he says that and you're like, oh boy, there's so much more to uncover here. And it's gold. This deserves the main event night one.
The big argument coming out of this segment is going to be like neither of the Royal Rumble winners are going to main event WrestleMania. Really? Neither of them? And I totally hear everybody who says that. It's a valid complaint to have. I completely agree. But man, these guys are something else, man. This segment was absolutely incredible. The drama that is now still filled with like what's going to come from Roman, because Roman thinks that was the favor. Oh, he wants a WrestleMania main event. Sure, I do that yearly. That's called my average Mania Sunday, brother. And then you have Seth Rollins and everything. Like, the story that is building up here is going to be the best story in all of WrestleMania. They're probably not going to go on very last because John Cena and Cody Rhodes are John Cena and Cody Rhodes. But this thing is going to be absolutely incredible. I think it's absolutely deserved. CM Punk being in the main event is going to be a tear-jerky moment, just if you've been a wrestling fan for the past 15 years, seeing that from afar. So I just think this is just the absolute perfect setup for the drama. I mean, this is the WrestleMania build. This feud is going to carry the weight of what the drama WrestleMania, road to WrestleMania should look like for the rest of this month.
Yeah, exactly. And this promo was so good between Roman and Seth originally before Punk even came out. And then Punk comes out and it's even better. And so I get the gripes or the, hey, like the Rumble winner should main event. Well, they should probably just stop saying that. And that's, it is what it is. This is kind of a special circumstance here. Because if you're not going to do it for Punk now, especially, you're never going to do it, sort of thing. And everything just kind of aligned here. Stars kind of aligned and it just kind of makes sense.
Yeah. Not much more to say because there's not much more to talk about. We can talk to the day is done about, well, what's the favor then, right? Is Paul going to do this? What's the twist going to be? All I can say is that I'm looking forward to it, and that's exactly what you want going into a WrestleMania. Like, I think that they should keep off. I think the favor should be something big at WrestleMania. I just can't wait to find out. These three guys are the three of the biggest names in the last 25 years of wrestling and kind of ever at this point. Like, what more do you want? That's exactly what you want going into WrestleMania. Let's just enjoy, man. Let's just enjoy. This is the first ever, though, full popped episode.
Yeah.
Were we too nice, or
I think this episode was just that good.
I think it was phenomenal.
I think this episode was, well, since we've gotten to 2025, I'd say this has been the best weekly episode we've gotten.
22 pops to 0 drops. It's unheard of. So I don't know. We don't even have a name for this. A super pop episode.
I don't know.
But it gets the golden seal of approval from COD WrestlePod. Is what we'll say. But thank you all for being there for the live stream as well. I get to the last few weeks with it being overseas has been hard for everybody to tune in, especially with us being more of an American-based audience in our live stream. But thank you all for stopping in for that. And if you want to do it, it's youtube.com/@COD WrestlePod. We'll be there for Raw, SmackDown, and WrestleMania. And then if you want to follow us on everything else, it's @COD WrestlePod, COD WrestlePod, YouTube, Spotify, Apple, wherever you get your podcasts at. We have a link tree in our bio. It's all there with our socials, so please go ahead and follow that. But I'm Will. That's Brandon. We're the Cousins of Destruction Wrestling Podcast, and we will see you next time.